Ah, yes, this movie. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Chet. This here is ChetChat, and we saw Baby Driver. Watch as Edgar Wright out fast and out furious as Vin Diesel in a car movie with high octane action with this kid who's just trying to do the right thing. Baby Driver, man, I actually didn't expect much from this movie. Honestly, when I first saw the trailer, I didn't like the trailer that much. It looked generic and I was getting tired of seeing it because I watched so many movies. God damn it. So when I went into this movie, I didn't really have too many expectations, even though I love Edgar Wright. Edgar Wright is the man. Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, just to name a few. My least favorite movie of his is probably At World's End, and even that movie is not that bad. I like this guy a lot, you know? Right out of the gate, this movie just grabs you with this really awesome heist scene where pretty much this kid, Ansel Elgort, I believe his name is, baby, in the movie, he's the driver for this group. The trailer kind of just tells you what the story is. He's this kid, he drives for these thieves who do heists every now and then. But there's a deeper plot to the whole story, and I don't want to say it, even though the story is not that original. So right in the beginning, you have this really cool scene with really good car chases and really fast-paced action, and as the beginning was actually going on, I realized something about the movie that made me feel kind of guilty about watching it. Probably mentioned this before from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and even Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1. I'm not a music person. I only recently started liking music. So I felt like this movie, Baby Driver, is so important that you know about music. I was able to catch a lot of songs because virtually throughout the whole movie, there's like little bits of silence. There's rarely any silence in the movie. There's always a song playing in the background, and the song has great weight to what is actually happening in the story at that moment. It even describes what a character is going through at that moment. The fact that there's playing so many songs, and if you actually know what the songs are and you know what the songs are about, it makes the scene even more enhanced.
We have an enhance in the field.
There were a lot of times where I actually felt left out because I didn't know what the song was, and there are even times when the characters are discussing music, but there are times when I actually knew what the song was, and they had some Barry White songs in there, and when I actually knew what it was, I felt that the scene was that much better because I know what's going on through the characters' heads and how the director wants me to feel about the situation. I know that might seem like, director 101, make music linked to what the scene is, but I felt like there's a little more effort put into it in this movie. Just so weird because it's a very unoriginal idea. It's this kid who's just trying to do the right thing, but he can't get out of doing bad things because he's in a situation. And then there's this, generic love plot in it where the love story is that's the only pure thing in his life, so he wants to protect it and he doesn't want to introduce it into this bad life. And even though there's these generic plot devices, the story is just executed so well. Such great pacing and just the thought process that Edgar Wright puts into every scene, and you can see the Edgar Wrightness come out throughout the movie. There were some scenes that reminded me of the pub scene in Shaun of the Dead where the camera's rotating and stuff. He has his little Edgar Wright moments, but they're actually charming and they work in this movie, unlike Michael Bay, where Michael Bay is obsolete now and he's terrible, he's garbage. But Edgar Wright, he's still producing great stuff, and I just can't stress enough how important it is to understand the music and just listen to what's happening, just not look at it. You have to actually get invested in what's happening on the screen to enjoy this movie fully. But don't let that scare you away. Like if you're like me who doesn't know a lot about music and doesn't really know the classics, I guess, you will be able to enjoy this movie without the music. Even though the music is super, super, super important, the characters are so compelling. You got Jamie Foxx, who was amazing in this movie. I was legitimately afraid of this dude in this movie. He was such a maverick that you didn't know what he was gonna do, and every time you see him on the screen, it's like, I don't know what this guy's gonna do. I fear for the main character's life, baby. You gotta give it up to Kevin Spacey as well. Kevin Spacey, he's always great in every movie. At least I think so. Freaking Horrible Bosses, a comedic movie, and I loved him in that movie. He's almost the best person in that movie, but everybody's great in that movie. I'll talk about that movie maybe later. And then you got John Hamm, who I can't name many movies that he's in, but I know I've seen him a lot, and he kills it in this, man. Everybody does a really good job, but those four people, they really bring it out. John Hamm, Ansel Elgort, Jamie Foxx, and Kevin Spacey. They do amazing jobs in this movie. There's literally nothing bad to say really about this movie. There's probably a little bit of slowdown, but the slowdown is almost welcome in this fast-paced movie that has amazing pacing, and it doesn't drag on. It has these really, really well thought out scenes with music, and there's even, on top of all this, just really good direction directing and structure of how the movie should be, where they lay out the structure of what a character is going to be like and what they become later in the movie. It makes sense. In essence, it's kind of like foreshadowing, but it's not spoon-fed foreshadowing. It's very well-placed foreshadowing that doesn't feel like it's forced. Kind of like how in 47 meters, I know I said centimeters before in that movie, 47 meters down, where they spoon-fed you the foreshadowing and they're like, oh look, don't do this because do, and it happens like immediately after. This one is they plant seeds of little character traits that end up coming up and sprouting in the end of the movie, and they make perfect sense. I love when the directing just works. Like, you could have a boring story just like this, and if you direct it correctly, it'll be awesome. And Edgar Wright, he just knocks it out of the park on this one, man. I think this is probably the best movie of the year. So yeah, that's it for this one. Give it a like if you liked it. If you really liked it, give me a little subscribe there. And if you didn't like it, give me a thumbs down. You know, you can do what you want, man. I think this is actually best movie of the year, man. So let me know if you think so as well. All right, definitely go out and see it. You'll enjoy it. You'll love it. Kinda guarantee it. See you next time.